What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And yes, you do see the title of the broadcast. So, this is how it's going down here. Apparently, of course, the investigation has happened, things like that, evidence has came out. So, yes, the officer that, took Sonya Massey's life is getting 20 years in prison. Shout out to that. So at the end of the day, though, the investigation has happened and they've come to find out that obviously this officer was in the wrong and highly dangerous. So they're going to lock his ass up. So we're going to go here now. We're going to go to the original footage a year ago and the original news report. And we're going to go from there. And then we're going to go off into what's happening now with the officer being convicted. So let's go here now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Well, now to a disturbing case out of Illinois involving a woman who called 911 for help, only to be shot and killed by a responding deputy. This morning, new body camera video shows how the ordeal unfolded, and we do want to warn you that this video is disturbing. Maggie Vespa is in Chicago with the latest.
I heard somebody outside.
Yeah, we checked your house. We checked your backyard. I walked all the way through all these backyards.
This morning, an Illinois woman's last moments seen in chilling detail on newly released body camera video. Prosecutors say on the morning of July 6th, 36-year-old Sonya Massey called 911 about a possible intruder. When two deputies arrived at her Springfield home, she at times appeared confused.
I'm trying to get help, y'all, but
What do you need help with?
nothing. I just, please God, please God.
Minutes later, Massey picks up what appears to be a pot of boiling water from her stove. The deputy on screen identified by prosecutors as Sean Grayson.
You better I swear to God, I'll shoot you in your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the pot! Drop the pot! Drop the 19 shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
The coroner confirming the mother of two was fatally shot in the head. Her body blurred by police in the video.
I'm not taking hot boiling water to the face.
Protests demanding charges against Deputy Grayson have mounted since. President Biden this week writing in a statement, Sonya's family deserves justice.
He walked around the counter to get a better shot. If you're in fear for your life, you don't walk towards the person.
Civil rights attorney Ben Crump speaking alongside Massey's family, who say she'd suffered from mental health issues.
Yeah, we all know Ben Crump was very prevalent at that time in this particular situation.
But you know what I want? I want justice for my baby. Yeah.
Grayson was fired from his job with the sheriff's department, and a grand jury has now indicted him on 3 counts of first-degree murder. His attorney declining to comment when reached by NBC News. Now the world seeing for themselves how one woman's call for help took such a tragic turn.
What is your last name?
That was Maggie Vespa reporting right now.
Okay, so this is the recap on what how it went down and stuff like that, because it's been this was back in 2024. It's 2026 now, so saying they're just now sentencing this guy and things like that. So yeah, we had to do the recap first so you can refresh your memory and stuff like that on the situation. So we're gonna go here now. Let's keep going.
Former Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson got
This is
the
the
maximum
update.
sentence, 20 years in prison. This case sparked national outrage and calls for change in police use of force policies.
Our prayers were answered today. We wanted the maximum sentence that was allowed here in the state of Illinois, and we got that today.
Sonya Massey's father, James Wilburn, says his family is finally getting justice. Grayson was convicted of second-degree murder in the shooting death of Massey, a 36-year-old unarmed Black woman, in her home in 2024. She had called 911 to report a prowler outside her home. The shooting was caught on Grayson's partner's body-worn camera.
It was just so uncalled for, so unnecessary.
Nearly 2 years later, her 16-year-old daughter, Summer Massey, says she's grateful he got the maximum sentence.
20 years is not enough, but they did what they did what they could do.
During the sentencing hearing, Summer talked about how her mother's murder has deeply impacted her. Her brother, 19-year-old Malachi Massey, said he feels like a part of him is dead. Sonya's mother, Donna Massey, also took the stand to speak in front of Grayson. At the end of her statement, she looked at Grayson and said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus."
That's what set him off and made him kill Sonya, because he hates the name of Jesus.
Wow. So mama repeated the same words that her daughter said. Well, the last words that her daughter said. Okay.
Outside of the Sangamon County Courthouse, many stood outside in support of Massey's family. Grayson's attorneys argued he should get probation or conditional discharge. We also found out Grayson was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2023, which has now spread to the liver, and separately has been diagnosed with stage 4 rectal and lung cancer. His attorneys argued imprisonment would be dangerous for his health.
Well, it didn't stop him from killing Sonya, and he didn't have any remorse. So, I don't have feelings for him, and I ask God to forgive me.
Wilburn says he will now work to get Grayson charged federally for violating his daughter's civil rights.
We understand the temperament in the country right now today. It doesn't look like that could occur, but I think it should.
Wow. So apparently the officer that, killed Sonya Massey, he's technically dying. Hey, listen, look, it's not funny, bro. It's not funny, but it's wild out here how these things, end up very tragic. Oh man, this is crazy, bro. But listen, look, man, mom said he didn't have all that sympathy when, he deleted her daughter. Man, it's wild out here. You want to have sympathy for everybody in this situation. Come to find out, dude technically dying. And at the same time, though, too, as a police officer, he neglected his training properly and pretty much did what he wanted to do at a certain point in time to you, basically an innocent lady. Like, she was unarmed. It's just, man, wow. But I'm sorry, man. Like, it is what it is here. It is what it is here. Obviously the evidence came out. He was found guilty of that situation, and it just is what it is. Now the judge is saying that his condition would not be feasible for him to, live in under prison conditions. So, okay, that means, so in my eyes, hold on, before I play this next segment here. So in my eyes, that means, of course, there's other people that have been convicted of crimes and stuff like that are in prison that has this type of cancer and all that type of stuff. So are their conditions not viable for them to be in prison? So are you saying that the conditions in prison, as far as healthcare and all that stuff, is not feasible for a man in his condition, that has technically colon cancer and stuff like that, and to spread it? Okay. So anybody that has cancer, the prison conditions wouldn't be feasible for them either, right? Let's keep going.
Yeah, that Massey family filled with tears, and really a loud cheer erupted of joy in that courtroom when the maximum sentence of 20 years was handed down to Sean Grayson, the former Illinois deputy here in Sangamon County. And we heard from testimony from the children and the parents of Sonya Massey explaining what life has been like this last year and a half without their loved one here. And they say this was a win for the community, a win for justice, and really a win for the entire country.
I am ecstatic, so happy. We did it, all of us together.
Donna Massey and her family have waited 572 days for this moment as Sean Grayson is sentenced to 20 years in prison for the second-degree murder of Sonya Massey.
I am happy with the verdict today of him getting 20 years.
Okay. Hold on here. Young man, this is not it. Why are we getting tattoos like this in the middle of our forehead like that? Now, man, I don't want to speak on this during this particular situation because they're actually rejoicing that their mother has gotten justice, but this is not the look. This is not the look. Young men, y'all need to stop with all these crazy tattoos like this in the middle of your forehead. How you plan on being in any successful job and or trying to make something of your life like that? You know, man, nah. You know, he need to get that off his forehead, bro. He need to get that off his forehead so he can move successfully. He's already going through enough. He need to get that off his forehead. I don't know why his family allowed him to do that. Let's keep going, though.
I'm glad he got the maximum sentence. They ain't try to lowball us or anything like that. That's a blessing.
Malachi Massey and his 16-year-old sister both addressed the court today, speaking emotionally on how difficult life has been without their mother. Sonya's parents also giving victim impact statements as the mother, Donna, ended hers by looking directly at the defendant, saying, quote, "Sean Grayson, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Those are the exact words Sonya said to Grayson before he shot her 3 times in her home on July 6th of 2024. During the trial, Grayson told investigators he thought her rebuke meant she intended to kill him with a hot pot on the stove, but prosecutors say she complied with orders before being shot. Today, Grayson addressing the court before his sentencing, admitting for the first time emotionally that he made many mistakes on that night in Massey's home while apologizing to the family and asking for their forgiveness.
For him to be weepy-eyed and crying and saying he was sorry for what he did, but he got on the witness stand during the trial and he doubled down with his lie. I wish they'd have let me put the cuffs on him today.
Now the family is shifting focus to carrying on the legacy of Sonya Massey. The family already reached a $10 million settlement in a lawsuit against the county and worked with state lawmakers to pass the Sonya Massey law in Illinois, which further extends background checks and the hiring of police officers across the state. That's something they say would have saved Sonya's life, as Grayson would not have been hired as a deputy after already being fired from other police departments for his conduct.
The Sonya Massey law should be law across the whole United States of America so that no family will ever have to go through the kind of hurt that this family has gone through.
Now, Grayson's attorneys hope to lower today's sentencing as they made their arguments by mentioning his medical condition. They said he's had stage 3 colon cancer since March of 2023. They say that has now elevated to stage 4 and spread across his body, but still Judge Ryan Cadigan enforcing that 20-year maximum sentence here today. The attorneys say they plan to appeal that.
So it is what it is here, people. Yeah, he found guilty. Obviously, the evidence proved it. And this is where we at now, regardless of whether the cancer and things like that, you know, and I don't wish that on anybody. My mother passed from colon cancer. So, yeah, I understand that it is a very tragic situation. I'm not, you know, making fun of it on his part, stuff like that. But he did do something very tragic to somebody else. And these are the consequences of doing that. You have to do the time if you do the crime, whether you're in law enforcement or whether you're an average citizen or whatever's going on. And yes, the justice is very much needed, but to speak on this is very much needed. I'm glad to see that Sonya Massey is getting justice and things like that. And also too, yeah, this situation is wild. It's very much wild, man. But, you know, this is where we at, people. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.